week ago, or whatever it was, December 23rd. And, Cece, my son and Nuno had a fascinating interaction.
Is that right?
Nuno, would you like to tell everybody what happened when you met my son?
Yeah, he looked down at me and said, yeah, you are short.
He's 12.
Yeah, he is 12 years old.
And I have a picture with my 9-year-old daughter and Nuno, too. And I didn't realize she was as tall as she is because she's almost taller than Nuno as well.
What can you say? I'm short.
Yes, we're aware. And, Pat, yes, you have Pat shaking his head. You have anything on this, Pat?
Just the idea that your daughter's taller than Nuno is really funny.
Or just the idea that you didn't know how tall your kids were until they met Nuno, like as he's the reference point.
Yeah, but Cece, you'll see this. Like, you're around your children every day. And so as it relates to them versus other people, you don't really when I see my daughter on her basketball team, then I see, oh, wow, she's one of the taller girls. It's not like I'm sitting there in fourth grade class every day with them to know she's taller or not taller than some of the other people out there. But, yeah, so Nuno met my children. My son was very excited to meet Nuno. Very excited.
He's apoplectic.
Nuno also just as another heads up.
Great job, by the way, as an aside. Great job of working apoplectic into the Boca Bowl, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
Nuno also said to Cece and I during the break just now, it's nice and warm and cold. I don't know what that means, but that's what he said. Oh, it's good to be back. All right, Cece, before we get into the breakdown of the game, because it's a huge one, AFC North title on the line, a rivalry that you played in as a Raven many of times, and all of the ramifications of what could or could not happen, can I just sit back for a second and hear you tell me and the world what's going on with Lamar and the Ravens? Why is there so much stuff around that right now?
Well, I mean, this is a consequential offseason for the Baltimore Ravens. They got to decide whether or not they got the right head coach quarterback tandem to get them to a Super Bowl into the future. Lamar Jackson has a $74 million cap hit in 2026. They're going to have to address his contract. So the question then becomes, does he even want his contract addressed? Does he want to move forward with the Ravens? How does he feel about head coach John Harbaugh? How does the organization feel about Harbaugh's ability to have success in the postseason, given that he's got a two-time MVP and a future Hall of Famer at quarterback? I think there are significant questions that have to be asked, and that's what makes the stakes so big for the Baltimore Ravens in Week 18, because all of this is setting the stage for what Eric DeCosta is going to do in order to shape the franchise for the foreseeable future.
All right, well, Sunday night, we don't think is going to be Lamar's last game, obviously, with the Ravens, but it is win or go home for both teams, the Ravens and the Steelers.
Can I say this, Ev? Because you said it so matter-of-factly, and I just want to point this out. We don't think it's going to be Lamar Jackson's last game with the Ravens, but it could be if Lamar Jackson wants it to be.
Okay, explain.
Well, I don't think I have to. He's got a $74 million cap hit. Lamar Jackson doesn't have to do anything. The Baltimore Ravens have to come see him, and if he wants out, then all he has to do is say, yeah, I don't want you to address my contract. Now, some of these larger contracts afford the team to unilaterally address the contract in terms of moving money around. I'm not sure if that's the case with Lamar's deal. It was with Dak Prescott, but I'm curious to see whether or not Lamar Jackson is on board with potentially doing an extension. Is he on board with potentially restructuring his deal and giving the Baltimore Ravens some wiggle room and giving them more cap space to allocate toward other areas of the team? Because if he's not, then all he has to do is hold their feet to the fire with what's written on the paper for his contract. And if he does that, then it's going to be hard for the Baltimore Ravens to be competitive unless they decide that they're going to do something different at quarterback.
Okay, so Let's hear from Lamar, because there's been this narrative that he kind of quit on the team a little bit. Here's what Lamar had to say about that.
I always want to play football, but I felt like my brother he could put a win off for us because I wouldn't be able to do anything. I was really hurt. Like, I don't know why I got to get questioned about, or I hear things about, I don't know if he really, like, I never quit on my team before, so I never quit anything, to be honest with y'all. So I don't know where that noise came from, but like I already know my brother gonna pull it off if I can't get it done, you know.
The talk that comes up when you do get hurt, how people react, it seems like they're not as quick to believe that you're as hurt as you say you are.
I mean, someone probably think I'm a robot, you know, but I'm a human being too, you know. But unfortunately, I couldn't, avoid that injury. You know what happened? We got the win in Green Bay. I'm looking forward to play Sunday, so it is what it is.
People know he won the MVP twice, right? And he could have won the MVP.
He could have won the MVP last year. Evan, you can make an argument that last year's regular season was the best regular season Lamar Jackson's ever played.
And he didn't win the MVP.
And it's an easy argument to make.
So what are we talking about exactly? Why are we talking about the idea? And we'll get to in just a few minutes here in terms of the loser leaves town part of it, because there's a whole other angle of this, of who has the most riding on Sunday night, and then what happens as a result of a loss for either side. But just this whole Lamar, it could be like, in what world would it make sense for the Ravens to move on from Lamar Jackson and not to discuss with him, how do we make this even better than it's already been? Which, by the way, it's been great. He won two MVPs there. They need to get to a Super Bowl at some point, no question. There's no logical person that you could bring in to play quarterback that could perform better than Lamar Jackson. While John Harbaugh is a great coach, if it's either him or me kind of thing, you're going to say goodbye to John Harbaugh, because you can't imagine another great coach winning a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. We've seen it too many times to think it can't happen, right? I can't imagine the Niners win a Super Bowl without Bill Walsh until George Seifert does it. I know I'm not bringing up the greatest examples, but it happened, right? I can't imagine the Cowboys not winning a Super Bowl without Jimmy Johnson until Barry Switzer does it. I can't imagine some of these things that happen. I can't imagine the Steelers winning without Chuck Noll until Cowher does it. Well, without Cowher, Tomlin does it. Like, they'll find another coach if it's a one or the other. They will not find another quarterback that they can sit here confidently and say, I think he'll get 2 MVPs. As a point of comparison, the Indianapolis Colts on purpose just brought back Phillip Rivers. Quarterbacks are not easy to find. They're just not. CeCe sat here 20 minutes ago and said, boy, I wanted Dante Moore to be better than he was yesterday. I'm a little nervous. Doesn't mean he's not going to be a great NFL player. Yeah. It just means you're not as high on him right now. Like, what are we talking about? And by the way, if we don't like Lamar's work ethic, which I'm not suggesting that is true, I'm saying if that is an angle, guess what? Find someone who improves that. Don't find a new quarterback. If John Harbaugh is not getting the most out of Lamar Jackson, hypothetically, find someone who will.
Just think about it in this context. Lamar Jackson is in the same division as Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow doesn't have an MVP or an All-Pro. Lamar Jackson has got 3 first-team All-Pros and 2 MVPs. You could take a quarterback with the number 1 overall pick and hit, and said quarterback wouldn't be as good as Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to get rid of a guy like that. So if it's an either or between John Harbaugh or Lamar Jackson, the decision is already made. I don't understand it either. I saw the article in the Baltimore Sun and all of that other stuff. It feels like it has a negative slant toward Lamar, and it feels like a hit piece if we're going to be honest about it. Some of the things that they've criticized in terms of his work ethic and falling asleep in meetings and staying up late playing video games, all of the things, like, it seems a little ridiculous to be raising those concerns for a guy that's already proven so much in this league. But what we're doing, Ev, is there are folks out there that are grasping at straws to try to figure out why a quarterback that's a future Hall of Famer and a head coach that's won a Super Bowl and considered one of the best in the business can't figure out a way to get to the pinnacle of the sport, which is playing in the Super Bowl. That's what we're trying to figure out. We're trying to scapegoat one or the other. And I feel like that's the part that people are having trouble with, trying to figure out who's more to blame for why this head coach quarterback tandem can't have success at the highest level of the sport.
8-8 Ravens.